Some of y'all about to be real mad at me, but it must be said.
There's so much drama going on right now.
Girl, she not ready to have her.
I need a drink. Hey, what is up all my social climbing friends? It's Dustin and I am back with another video, and for a change it is not about James Charles. I am so thankful for that. I'm sure a lot of you are as well. Now what I'm going to be talking about in this video today, some of you are going to be mad at me, some of you may agree with me. However, I do think that using my platform to talk about this, you are open to your opinion. You don't have to agree with me and I don't have to agree with you. Just because we see two different points of view does not make either of us wrong. Let me just get that out of the way because I've seen so many people have very intense feelings about this because it's Trisha and Nikocado. And for those of you who don't know, for a long time now, they've had this banner that's been going back and forth and it's just very, very, very negative. And in the midst of me doing all these James Charles videos, I have got multiple requests to cover this topic. For those of you that don't know, I have been very close to Trisha somewhat. I would say that we're friendly, we're not friends. At one point in time, she did follow me on Twitter. And I actually had someone DM me and say, I know that you won't cover this because you'll be biased, or if you cover this, you'll be biased because you're friends with Trisha. I was like, excuse me? And I know that there's a whole lot of new people here and I'm so glad to have you here, but I must make it known that I have been a big fan of Trisha. I've watched her for a very, very long time, almost like at the beginning of her like YouTube career. I started watching her, right? But that in no way would stop me from calling her out, because I have called her out on multiple occasions. I have a video called Trisha Paytas Shut Up Girl. I have a whole bunch of different videos where I've actually called out Trisha Paytas for bullshit that she has done here on the internet, which ultimately led to her unfollowing me like 6 or 7 months ago when all that stuff happened, when her and Jason broke up like the first time. So please, before you think that I'm biased or whatever, I have no problem seeing things for what they are and who they involve. I really don't care. Anyway, now that we've got that out of the way, for those of you that don't know, Nikocado is a mukbang channel here on YouTube. He has grown to like over 1 million subscribers. Actually, when all this Veronica Wang stuff went down, I was shocked when I seen his channel and how much it had grown. And I even seen that he was on Tosh.0 and I was just like shook. But back in the day when Trisha came out with the song Warrior, it's a great song, I actually do love that song. She did this contest where people could submit a cover and she would send them like a prize or something, and he ended up doing a cover using a violin and it was very beautiful. I thought it was very touching and it was very heartfelt. He said that it took him over 100 hours to film this and put it all together. For those of you that don't know, sometimes YouTube is a very big task, so I applaud him for that. That is a lot of work. And ultimately this ended up with her reaching out to him saying, hey, let's collab or whatever. I believe she even commented on some of his videos, Well, here we are, it's 2019. This drama happened like 2 years ago, almost 3 years ago, because I remember very vividly when this went down. I think that I had like maybe 1,000 subscribers, but I was still very active on Twitter, and I remember that Martin Lewis at the time actually covered this. It was a story where Nikocado was going to be doing a collab with Trisha and she ghosted him. For those of you that don't know what ghosting is, it's basically when you say you're gonna meet someone and then you ultimately end up not doing it, or you fall through on plans. You're basically a flake. And there's no way that no one can say that they've never flaked on someone, because literally I'm sure that everybody has done that at least once in their life. So a couple days ago, almost a week ago, Nikocado uploaded this video where he exposed Trisha, and it is a very tearful video. He is pulling at heartstrings, and in my opinion there's a bit of manipulation there, because he did use some clips of Trisha talking with Vegan Cheetah, and I remember this live stream going down. I remember everyone being in that room and her and him talking about Nikocado and all of that, and I seen that Nick actually cut a part of a clip to make it look like something that it wasn't. In that clip you can see the Vegan Cheetah and Trisha talking about Nikocado, and they're talking about food and stuff, and Trisha says something to the effect of, you always talk about these people and Nikocado, he's gotten so fat. But Nikocado actually did cut out the part like directly after that where Trisha says, what does it matter? I'm gonna put it in here for you guys to see the full entire context of what I'm saying.
So she loved to talk about my weight gain. I'm really not sure why.
Nikocado gaining weight, all these people fucking being fat.
Like, you really believe that?
Yes, all you do is make fun of people's weight.
No, I don't.
You always talk about like Nikocado gaining weight, all these people fucking being fat.
Well, I do think Nikocado is gaining weight for views. Like I've said
But
that.
why does it matter?
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter.
So when I noticed this, I was like, hold up, wait a minute. I guess I am gonna have to talk about this. So what basically happened is Trisha ended up reaching out to Nick saying, hey, let's collab. She tweeted at him, they got in DMs, they were talking and they were setting dates or whatever. And Nikocado did explain that this would be like a two birds, one stone situation. He needed to come back to the United States for visa purposes because at the time he did live in Colombia, I believe, so he needed to leave, come back or whatever. So he was gonna have to leave Colombia anyway, come to the US and then go back. Well, he's in Trisha's DMs and they're going back and forth and she's like, yeah, we could do this on this date, and he's like, yeah, that'll work, da 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 da. They come to a date, allegedly. They end up getting into specifics, what they're gonna film, how they're gonna film, if it's gonna be a 2-day shoot or whatever. And Trisha's like, yeah, okay, cool, whatever. Well, this is where it gets tricky. So Nick ends up booking this flight after he's already messaged Trisha several times and she has not replied. And mind you, this is at a very pivotal point, a very low point for Trisha, because she came out with Warrior. That was like directly after her breakup with Sean. There was a guy that looked like Sean in the Warrior music video, so she was not at her best. And Nick booked this flight and he got out there and he continually DM'd her and she didn't respond. Now, first and foremost, if I'm DMing with someone and they don't reply after 2 or 3, I'm just like, okay, I'm not gonna bother. And then especially if I was gonna have plans with someone, I would definitely not pay for a flight and go to somewhere that I had never been before and then continually text them expecting a response. Like, sometimes no response is a response, if you know what I mean. Like, no shade, I'm not trying to be mean. Like, I get that this hurt his feelings and I know that Trisha's fans are very, very ruthless when it comes to protecting Trisha and all of that. I have been on the backside of that. I know exactly what Trisha Paytas fans say. I know how they act and I know the comments that they can leave, okay? So ultimately it results in Trisha Paytas ghosting Nikocado, and 2 years later he comes out with this video. Nick did make some points about Trisha Paytas calling him crazy and that he's a stalker. While I don't think that she should have said that at all, like, I don't think that him like messaging her like continually makes him a stalker or crazy, but him getting online and posting videos of him chasing his boyfriend around with a butcher knife doesn't exactly make him look sane, in my opinion, if you know what I mean. Now, as far as this whole thing goes with Trisha and her not wanting him to come over, she was at a very low point, and Trisha Paytas is one of those people, I could look at her and tell that she would probably be flaky. It's just how some people are. I don't think that they really mean anything by it. She did know that he was out there. She could have at least had the common decency to respond and be like, hey, this ain't gonna work. We're not, like, this is not going to happen. But she did say that she equated it to like personal safety issues and things like that. And I don't think that Nikocado would have hurt her, but who am I to say that for her? Like, I'm not her. I don't know how she felt in that situation. I didn't know every detail that was going through her head at that point in time. And basically Nikocado is wanting an apology. Okay, so I mean, I agree, maybe there should be an apology issued there, but at the end of the day, nobody can make Trisha Paytas apologize. And if I were Nick, I wouldn't want an apology that somebody didn't mean anyway. So, I mean, it's been 2 years. This seems to be like festering with him. It seems like it's really, really bothering him. But at the end of the day, why would you want this apology from someone that does not want to give you an apology? If it's not heartfelt, why do you want it anyway? I did also want to point out that I did watch another Drama Channel's video, and I'm not trying to be shady at all. Peter Mon actually did comment on this. You guys know that he is close to Trisha, but he did say that Trisha is like holding Nikocado's pain in her hand and she should just give him what he wants, and that's an apology. And I don't really agree with that. Like, sometimes you really do just have to move on. You're not always going to get closure in every situation. For him to say that she's holding his pain in her hand, like, I don't really agree with that, because at the end of the day, it was just a collaboration gone bad. People ghost all the time. That's how people are in LA. He noticed that she was not responding, and you guys, I'm not trying to drag Nick. I'm really not. I do see why he would be upset and why his feelings would be hurt. But also, while saying that, like, you don't owe anybody anything. He knew when he booked that ticket that she didn't respond at that point in time, and then later when he was in LA, she still didn't respond. They're both guilty here. Trisha led him on, and then he continued even after she didn't respond. So I see 2 wrongs, and 2 wrongs don't make a right. 3 lefts do. Neither one of them are worse than the other, in my opinion, when it comes to this situation. And I know that a lot of people have different opinions of Trisha outside of this situation, and it will be brought into this. Like, that's undeniable. Like, people always like to mix other things in with other things, but we're just talking about this situation specifically here. My final thoughts are, Trisha could have responded and been like, hey dude, it's just not gonna work. And for Nick, when she didn't respond before he booked that flight, he could have just like left it alone and just completely left it alone. He didn't have to make a video 2 years later, although that's his prerogative. I can't tell him what to do here. It just seemed like it was very attention-seeking behavior to me, the theatrics and all of that. Like, I get the internet hate is a lot sometimes, and I understand again how Trisha Paytas fans can be, but some things you just have have to let go. Sometimes you have to pick your battles. Sometimes you have to choose what you want to put your energy into, and he's allowed people to give him this energy and it's affected him. My best advice would be just to let it go, Nick. You don't have to sit here and expect an apology from someone because they're not going to give it to you. She did upload a video this morning and say, well, she's sorry if that's really what you want, but at the end of the day, I don't think that you should accept an apology that's not wholeheartedly like meaningful. Like, I don't want an apology from someone that does not want to apologize for me. And we see this a lot with people on the internet. They want apologies, but the apology means nothing and their actions don't change. Like, why even expect an apology? But you guys, I really want to know what you think about this down below. I know some of you will probably be pissed at me because I did not side with Nikocado and I didn't side with Trisha. But I'm just sitting here thinking, as someone that has been ghosted before, and there has been somebody that has ghosted me, okay? I'm not going to talk about it, but I have been ghosted before. You guys let me know what you think down below, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye, guys.